You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Alan Lee will not be here today. Um, I feel like I should explain the Alan Lee situation. I keep getting emails, and maybe it's just something I have to explain on every single episode until the emails stop coming. But Alan Lee is very much still on the show. He's still the trusty sidekick. We didn't have a falling out or anything. Um, just what's going on is because like I do stand up at night and I don't have a day job. Alan Lee has a day job. So when I do these interviews, they mostly line up during the day where Alan Lee's at his day job and it's just not working. And I'm not gonna tell a guest, oh wait, can you wait till 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock? That so Alan Lee could do it, and then I might end up missing my gig or something. So it's just literally just a scheduling conflict. In the summer, Alan Lee will probably be more available on the shows and stuff. And you know, a man's got to work. But I thank you guys for the emails. And like I said, he's still on the show. He's still part of Razor Riffs, and we did not have a falling out. I feel like I do need to make that clear, because yeah, he hasn't been on them in a while. So speaking of Alan Lee, Victor Pacheco will not be here today. I'm not too sure if Victor's going to come back. If he does, he's welcome. But you know, uh, I'm just not sure. So I do get some emails about Victor as well, and just letting you know, Victor is not the trusty sidekick. It's Alan Lee, and Victor just does it when Alan Lee can't do it. So I feel like I do needed to make that clear. I'm on Cameo. Book me on Cameo. Birthday shout outs, all that jazz. And oh yes, and no, I did not have a falling out with Victor. Just I feel like I should make that clear too. Just scheduling. It's just all about scheduling. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, I got some dates. Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Hyenas, the Red Room. It only holds 80 people. I'm trying to sell it out. Friday, June 7th. Get your tickets today, please. If I sell it out, they'll add another show, and that's what we want to do. We got a great show today. I'm very excited. Been trying to get this lady for a while. I think she's hilarious. I think she's a great actress. You guys are gonna love her. You've seen her in Final Destination, Drop Dead Gorgeous, Saving Silverman, The Majestic. She was in uh, Empires, and she's a fantastic actress, and I'm very, very excited to talk to her. Amanda Detmer is going to be here, and it's going to be a great time, and you guys are going to love her. Also, subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and enjoy this episode of Razor Wrists with Amanda Detmer. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, sorry, we made it. Oh, there we
Oh,
go. We're
how,
in. All right.
all right. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I thought the time changed, the daylight saving, so I was worried. I was like, oh my God, maybe it hurt her. You know what I mean?
Well, that only got me when I was gonna get up this morning for yoga at 6 a.m. and realized it was really 5 a.m. And I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. Not today. Not today, Satan.
Uh, Isn't daylight savings funny? Like it's like a bad relationship. It only lasts us 6 months.
That's about the course of it. That's hilarious. Well, too, and no matter what, all this technology, and I still didn't know, and I blamed my family for not telling me because they got to keep mom up to date. I mean, I'm not all that aware of everything going on all the time as much
Yeah.
as I am their schedules. So, like, let me know.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you ever need an assistant, I have an assistant experience. So like I'm
Oh
pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah. I was Norm Macdonald's assistant for nine years. So like I was
you
like,
were
yeah, I opened up for him too.
interesting.
Yeah. So but
Love
yeah.
it. Good deal.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about Final Destination first because that's one of the best horror films of all time, and you have like the coolest death scene. So I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but how was that like filming that? Like,
That was it was really neat. First of all, it was kind of a big movie, for me in my short career at that time. It was quite a big deal to go to Canada and just the whole thing. I was just as happy as a pig in shit the whole time. I mean, there were days we shot 20 hours. I mean, but nothing could keep me down. I was just so happy and so excited to be there all the time
yeah,
and full of energy. And that was amazing because it started before production. I went to have a full body cast made of myself. And it was the whole like my arms were propped up. I had straws in my nose, head cast, everything. So that was a dummy that was made exactly to be me. And then they filled it with like pig guts and animal guts and stuff and blood and everything for real. And then then the bus hit the dummy, and then when they cut it all together, they brought me to the truck, and they were like, we want to show you something. And I didn't know what they were going to show me, and they sat me down and they played the death for me. And I guess I just sat there and was like, oh my god, and like almost started to cry and freaked out. And they filmed me watching me die, just like the commercials when they filmed the audience watching the death scene, but they didn't show what it was. That was
yeah,
a big commercial back then. So it was pretty awesome and a shocker. And they were so thrilled because they had done something that had not been done before on camera.
yeah.
So,
I so like when that happened, they showed you. Did you think to yourself, okay, I guess I'm not going to be in the sequel?
yeah. But then apparently I was. I know that my picture was in the sequel, and I've heard that a couple scenes or a scene is in Final Destination 6 or 7.
Oh,
I'm
really?
not sure. I haven't seen them all, so
And neither have I. I saw the first two, and
uh-huh.
then I became a Saw fan. So I was like, oh,
Oh, Saw, yeah. Ooh, that movie. Hoo-hoo. I
yeah,
can barely watch that movie.
oh yeah, yeah. But so when they put you in the like when they were like measuring you for the dummy, how long did that take? Because like
It
that
took
seems
eight
holy sh
hours. Hmm.
oh, that's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a long day. I think they did the body cast separate from the head. I like to tell the story that it was all at once, but I don't think it was. It was a long day. It was a
yeah.
very long day.
Was it uncomfortable for you because like you're being like with all this clay and stuff, or like how is the process? Because you're there for 8 hours and you're just sitting there, I'm assuming.
I was standing for the body part,
Oh
but
my God.
I just like I said, I was so excited about every single thing that was happening to me because I never thought it would happen that I would be able to do what I loved to do in front of a camera. I was hoping at best to do a professional play or two. And so for me, everything was exciting. If I had to do it now, I might have some complaints, but but back then I just had the time of my life. We were laughing and joking all day long. It was like, what are you doing now? I wore like a unitard, so it was almost like being naked, and you're like, I don't care. And they got their hands all up in all kinds because it's crazy. I mean, it's like, they gotta mold it to you. And build it around you. And
Yeah.
I just thought it was great. And the guys that did it were great. We just had a blast. We had a blast all day long.
It's also like for a horror film, like most of that cast is pretty funny people. Like Sean William Scott's like the funniest guy in the world. So like, you could just be like laughing and stuff. You know what I mean?
We had a blast all day. I met Sean actually. So Sean had just done American Pie, and it wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
So I was on the plane to Canada, and there's this really cute guy, a couple rows ahead of me. And he turns around and goes, "Are you Amanda Detmer?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I am. Why? Who are you?" And it was Sean William Scott. And so we were talking like over people and so excited that we were going to go do a movie. We're just so green. And they finally go, "Would you guys like to sit together?" And so we said, "Yes, of course, we want to sit together." And we sat together and then cut to like a kind of beautiful friendship. We obviously I had a huge crush on him, but that didn't work out. We
Yeah.
might have smooched a couple times, but more so than that, we just had a blast during the movie. And yeah, so he was the first person I met.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
then the first film that I saw you in, I saw this when I was like 11 or 12, but because like I always really liked dark black comedies, and it was Drop Dead Gorgeous, and
Yeah.
I thought that was like really funny for a couple of reasons because one, there's it's mostly a female lead. You know what I mean? Like it's all females making these
Mm-hmm.
jokes and stuff, and I thought that's a very creative. And then I watch it now, I'm thinking, oh my God, that's kind of daring because back then it doesn't seem like that was the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. It was a very female driven movie cast.
Yeah.
I got that part. I almost forget about Drop Dead Gorgeous because I actually was doing my first professional job in Minnesota at the Guthrie Theater, which is one of the largest regional theaters in the country. I mean, I thought I had arrived, and I had on many levels. I went straight from NYU to that job, and they were having an open call for this movie. And I thought, well, what am I doing? I said I wanted to do this, so why not show up?
Yeah.
So they had said, be a character. And I had created characters that as part of projects in grad school. So for whatever reason, I decided, why not be this character who happened to be like 16 and pregnant, but sort of in denial of the pregnancy. And so pretended like it wasn't really there. And I did a Minnesota accent. And so I did this character from the minute I walked into my first audition till 7 auditions later. And they're grabbing a chair for me and they're like holding the door for me. And they're like, "We really want to talk to you, but are you okay? And you're so pregnant." And I get there and I sit down and the whole room is there. Like every producer, the director, the writer, everyone is in the room in Minnesota. And I sit down and they go, "Well, we really want to give you this part, but we're sort of concerned because you're pregnant." And I was like, and I stood up and I went, "Oh my God, I'm not pregnant and I don't talk like this." And I took stuffing out of my dress
Oh
and I
my
put
God.
it on the table in front of them. And I started to get really hot and I wanted to cry because I thought, "Oh my God, they're never going to hire me now. I've blown my chance. This is it."
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I lied or something. I was like, "You told me to be a character." So I was. And blah, blah, blah. And then everyone's mouth just dropped open and there was total silence as I'm like, pulling my dress up and pulling stuff out. And they just all sat there and they were like, "Oh, huh. Okay." And so I left and I was like, "Oh my God." And I got Minnesota,
Yeah.
Minneapolis. Yeah, it
I
was
think
great.
I think that was genius because that's like a Minnesota type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one of
Kind
the
of.
that's like one of those success stories where like when you go to an audition, I don't have much auditioning experiences, but
Mhm.
you go in dressed as a part and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna get this part either way." So like I like that story because you actually did it. So I think that that's cool.
Yeah, I think in spite of because I didn't know anything, what I did worked. And I took that with me for sure. You make bold choices and you stick to them. Come hell or high water,
Yeah.
make a strong choice and never let them bring you down. And then it often works. Usually strong choices are either get you the job or they're like, yeah, no, I don't want that. That's not what we're looking for. But that's okay too, because as an actor, you make choices and you're like, this is how I want to do this character. This is how I'm going to do it. And we'll work together. Or if that's not what you're looking for, then we're probably not right for each other, you know?
Yeah. What was Drop Dead Gorgeous your first like mainstream type of thing?
Um, so funny story there too. When I'm from Chico, California, and I live here now, and I was in my final year of Chico State with my
Uh,
BA in theater arts, and I had been accepted to NYU, and I knew I was going to grad school, which to one of the finest grad schools in the country. So I was going. There was nothing that was going to stop me. And again, there was an open call in Chico for this made for TV movie called Stolen Innocence. And I was did the same thing. I thought, well, you should go. You should go to this open call in Chico. And before I knew it, I was meeting everyone in Sacramento. And I went in thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to get a part in a movie? All these people were there, and I ended up not just getting into the movie, I got the supporting female character. And oh my God, Tracy Gold was my friend from, oh, what was the TV show? Full House, not Full House. It was in the era of Full House. Anyway, I played Tracy Gold's best friend right here in Chico, California. And they tried to take me to Hollywood. And I said, hell no, I'm going to grad school. And I went to school anyway. So that was actually my first one. And it was a made for TV movie.
oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, it was pretty funny. And she goes, are you ready? And I go, I was born ready. And that I did it just like that too. I was born ready. And then we took off in our car. Yeah,
Uh,
it was pretty fun. It was great.
Now, with like all these streaming services, you could probably watch any made for TV movie that's ever been made. But like back then, you'd have to like rush and watch it when it was playing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was actually the first movie, the first big job I had after Drop Dead Gorgeous was a mini series for a NBC called To Serve and Protect, and I was a cop. And again, you're exactly right, because I remember we were late for like the second installment, but I was the lead in that. And we were rushing, trying to get through like rush hour traffic. And I'm like, but it's like, this is a big deal. It's like a big, it was my first lead in anything, you know?
Yeah.
And yes, and I was actually with John Corbett was my love interest in that. And we were together trying to make it through rush hour traffic to get there to watch and start it on time. And we
Yeah.
did. And yeah.
That's awesome. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of like in a way kind of unique because you said that one was about a cop where you were the lead, and then you did I only saw the pilot, but you did a pilot. I want to say it was called AUSA or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was about illegal, and I thought it was hilarious. So like it's funny how
Yeah.
like the same genres kind of relapse in a way.
Yeah. We did a USA. We actually did 13 episodes. We shot 13 of that. And I worked with Rich Appel, who is the master of King of the Hill.
Yeah.
And he and a million other things. What a wonderful, awesome, upbeat, happy guy. Uh, Judd Apatow came to the set, you know, and this is before all the craziness of fame of Judd Apatow, who's huge. And that was such a good time. Scott Foley is such a lovely dude. And to do multi-camera on a set was as close to doing theater in front of a camera, which was my training that I had ever been. So
Yeah.
for me, it was just right up my alley with a live audience, and I really wish we were still doing more things like that. I've guest starred on a few, but the multi-camera fell out of favor for quite a while. And
Yeah.
even now, what looks like a multi-camera sitcom is very often single camera.
Oh yeah, definitely. And sometimes they don't because now like the style is they don't want audiences there. They want to play the whole film it like a movie and then hope the audience laughs at home. Where like
Yeah.
at a sitcom, it's kind of like a stand-up show. All right, are you guys ready for your first
Yes.
scene? And they film it 1,000 times.
It's, but the energy that you get will just keep you going all night long. And it's certainly when you're doing a new one, like we were with AUSA. Yeah, things took a while. We went late into the night, and those audiences just stuck with us all night long. And then you'd get to, like, between takes, go up and say hi to them or get on the mic. It was just so much fun to me because I also was very, and still am, uncomfortable with Hollywood. It's a tough world, and I'm like, these are my people, this audience. These are my people.
Yeah.
I understand that. This world, not so much.
I'm the same way because, like, not to brag, but I'm like a F-list celebrity. You know what I mean? So like I'm like the John Cusack of stand-up comedy. And
Awesome.
so like I feel, and I have Asperger's syndrome, so I could talk to other celebrities like that, no problem. But normal people, like I could never talk to a girl at the grocery store and get her phone number. You know what I mean? Like
Really?
I just can't do it. Like it's like, but like I feel like because in a way it's a brotherhood because it's the same industry type of thing. You know what I mean? So like I'm comfortable with you or anyone else, but like just a random stranger, I just can't do it. It like freaks me out.
We need to get together and help each other out, because that's how I feel when I talk to celebrities.
Really?
I
Oh my
get
god.
so, not that it happens a lot now. I'm, a full-time mom, and I work when I can, but it's not as often as I would like. It's been a really long time since I've worked. It's been since, in front of the camera, it's been since I did uh, Empire with
Yeah.
Taraji and Terrence. I haven't been in front of the camera. I've done some theater. Did some theater in Connecticut last summer, and the year before that, I was in Arkansas. This is
Wow.
interesting, but I have a hard time. I just always felt like I shoved my foot right in my mouth. I'd say the dumbest things, and I'd walk away like in Boogie Nights when Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, "You idiot! You're an idiot!" Like that was me. God, stop talking, idiot! Like, what did you say? Oh God, that was me almost in every situation.
Well,
Paralyzing fear. Yeah.
well, hey, I got a new movie for you that you could do. It's called Saving Silverman 2.
Ah, yes, there you go. Write
Right?
it, dude. Why
Yeah.
was that never made? I'll tell you why that was never made. Because in reality, when that movie was released in the movie theaters, it bombed miserably.
But
Horribly, miserably.
it has like such a strong classic now. Like if you ask anyone who knows anything about comedy, Saving Silverman's in the top 20 for sure.
Yeah. Which
So
is so awesome to have been a part of that. And that too was another situation where I was like, I'm doing what? With who? Where? So every day I was like, and it was well known that my energy was enough to keep everybody going. If they needed any, they could borrow from me. But again, I just couldn't believe it. And I remember too, still always the girl from Chico. You can take the girl out of Chico, Chico out of the girl. And so I was not on set, obviously, as much as everyone else. I mean, it was a huge part, but I had time, and we were in Canada and
yeah.
staying at the Sutton Hotel, the Sutton Place. And I had a kitchen, and I had also a massive crush on Jack Black. So
Oh my gosh.
I made Jack I made Jack a lasagna one day. I don't know, like that's just what we do, right? You make
Yeah.
people food. You make people food. So I made a lasagna, and I set it to the set, and I got a voice message later that day from Jack, and he sang a song, and it went like this: killing me softly, lasagna, killing me softly. And I did not keep that recording. I wish I had it to this day. But that's my little Jack Black story. It was like a healthy crush. He was even with the woman he's married to now, I think, during that. But we had a good time doing that movie. Goodness gracious, it was as fun as it looks.
If I ever meet Jack Black, I'm gonna ask him to record that. And I'm gonna text it to you so you have it again.
He'll be like, what was her name again? And I did what movie with her? But I will say, oh, well, on that movie, on the note of that movie too, is of course we have the great Neil Diamond. I
Oh,
mean,
that. How awesome was that?
there's that.
Yeah.
So I also fully in starstruck mode with Neil Diamond and could not believe that I'm like sitting in a chair next to him, just talking about stuff. And I absolutely fell in love with him. He bought me a Slurpee one day, and it was
Oh.
so awesome because we were filming outside of a 7-Eleven, and I was like, I'm a Slurpee. And I don't have any money. I'm a Slurpee. And so Neil's like, let's go. And we go inside, and Neil's standing behind me, and the guy behind the cash register is like, he's got this look on his face like, oh my God. And I'm like this. I'm like this. Slurpee. He's like, all this little money,
Yeah.
those ridiculous magazine stars. They're just like us. I was like, he's just like us. He's got money in his pocket. He's buying me a Slurpee. And then at the end of that, the most awesome thing is a man named Mill came to my house and brought me a guitar from Neil signed, and one of his guitars. Yeah, he
Oh my
gave me
God.
one.
That's
Know,
awesome.
it's
So
awesome.
during this story, do you mind if I ask, were you wearing your hooker gear when that happened?
Oh my gosh, Wes, I think I might have been. I think
So
I might have been wearing the hooker gear.
so the
Yeah,
7-Eleven guy was like, "Holy shit, Neil Diamond likes hookers."
happening. Right? I know. Yeah.
Uh, uh, I did have a question about Saving Silverman and the car scene where Jack Black and Steve Zahn like fall on your car. How was that? Like, how do you guys film that? Because you're stuck in the car and then it breaks on you. Like, can't you get hurt on that?
It's funny question because I don't really remember how they did the fall. I'm pretty sure I was in the car, and of course that was possible that they put it like a mat on top of the car and just shot it for that. Um, I don't really remember what they did, except I know that at the end of it, what they did do is they lay them on top of the car, right? And
Yeah.
then make a like like that. And the hard time that I had with that is how they wanted me to react, which is what I did in the movie, which is a ridiculous like scream. And I didn't quite agree with that. Like I thought it was a bit much. And sure enough, they were right because it totally works for the scene. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that though. I
Yeah.
didn't want to have that kind of a reaction. I was like, that feels weird. I don't know. It's too big. Like, look at the movie. Like the whole entire movie is over the top ridiculous. So
So
that reaction wasn't what I wanted to do, but I did it. I did what I was told, and
it
it
was
turned out to be right.
the best scream in a comedy. So that's what I like.
Isn't that funny? See, and I tell act students that all the time. I'm like, just because you don't think it works doesn't mean it doesn't work. Shut up and do what they tell you to do because that's what you're getting paid for.
Yeah.
So
And then after Saving Silverman, you did the Majestic, which is kind of a funny movie, but it's more drama. And I thought you were fantastic. And then I wanted to know how because at this point you're doing mostly comedy and stuff. How did you translate like that, like that? You know what I mean?
well, you know, when I went to grad school, when I back to go back to when I auditioned for grad school, because you do these, monologues, and I did like Polixena from Hecuba, and if you that sounds serious, it is serious. It's a serious Greek drama, very serious. And then I did like a really sad monologue, and like just crying, and no, my brother doesn't love me, kind of shit. And the acting teacher. His name is Ron Van Loo, who is still teaching and is just an absolutely incredible teacher. He was laughing the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, this guy doesn't want to talk to me either. He thinks I'm a joke. And I went to leave the audition just mad as hell. And he goes, I'm sorry, can you? And he's laughing. He's like, can you please just sit down for a minute? And he's like, still laughing. And so, cut to the rest of my academic career at NYU, they kept making me do comedy. And I was like, I'm a serious actress. What is wrong with these people? So, what I learned in Hollywood is the more serious I took myself, the harder they laughed. and the more money I got paid. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Oh
the more
my God, that's great advice.
no, the more jobs I got. So I just realized if I took something really super serious, it worked for me. So being serious works for drama and it works for comedy for me. So I am more comfortable a little bit with drama. So it was just this lovely mixture. And working with Jim Carrey, of course, I kind of thought it was going to be, a yuck it up time, but it wasn't because Jim really wanted to take it very seriously. And he was just so lovely and made me feel really comfortable. I was nervous. I was particularly nervous when we had to kiss. I remember like eating popcorn and then having cotton mouth and then like coughing and then being like, sorry, I coughed and like in your mouth. Like, but it was comfortable with drama. And that was like right down the middle, So I got to take what I had learned up to that point and what I was comfortable doing and sort of put the two together.
Yeah. Jim Carrey's one of those guys where like he could pull off anything, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for being able to do that. You know what I mean?
I happen to agree with you. And I think he's just fantastic. And also, I mean, I remember my first reaction, not that Jim Carrey isn't handsome, but in person, he's like drop dead gorgeous. I mean, I was like, whoa, because we see him mug it up and do so many faces and do crazy things with his physicality and everything. When he's still, he's beautiful. And his energy is very zen when he's working. So yeah, talk about having to fight something, pretty much your entire career up to now that he can do that. And if anyone saw Sunshine of the Spotless Mind,
oh my God,
that.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Like,
So
holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't just because of him, it was because that script was just so,
unbelievable. That movie changed me, I think, when I saw it, both of them, but particularly Jim. What a heart-wrenching, moving, incredible performance from both him and Kate Winslet. It changed my life when I saw it. I remember thinking, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. I always say to myself, like, if I ever become an actor, I mean, I know my chances now are getting slimmer by the days.
Oh my gosh, you and me both.
But if I always say, if I ever become an actor, I would want to film The Spotless Mind. You know what I mean? Because
That's
like
funny.
that movie is just, oh my God, I'm so weird that you said that because everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I think it's one of the.
Have they seen it?
I
If
know.
they think you're crazy, I mean, like, just watch it again.
It's one of those movies that's just perfect all the way through. And there's not a lot of movies like that.
Except for this one. I forgot I was wearing this.
Oh, The Breakfast Club.
Can you see my t-shirt? It's like I wore to bed.
Who was your favorite Brat Packer?
Oh, I'm gonna say Judd. I love him.
Oh my gosh, go Judd!
I love him. My t-shirt. I can't believe I have this on. I looked down. I was like, oh, there you go. No, I'm sorry.
No. If I ever meet Judd, I'm gonna say, hey, my friend Amanda loves you.
I met him once.
Oh, you did?
Another friend of mine. Yeah, he ended up at my son's birthday party for some reason. Well, because of my friend. He's good friends with a friend of mine, Eddie McClintock, who's from AUSA. Eddie did a show called Warehouse 13 too, but he too and I were both in the same, like, struggling to find work and whatnot. But that came and I was sort of, he was wearing a trench coat too, of all things.
Oh yeah.
And he had ridden a motorcycle there, like a Harley.
Oh,
so just exactly what you would want, like, this is perfect. This is how I want to meet Judd.
You want to hear the most awkward meeting a celebrity story ever?
Yes.
It'll make you laugh, I think. At least I hope it does. So I once met Christopher Lloyd in a bathroom. And I don't know if you know, but boys, go to the bathroom standing up. So I was so I'm peeing next to Christopher Lloyd, right? And I look at him and he might think like I'm gay or something because like when a guy looks at you when you're peeing, it's kind of weird. And I was like, "Are you Christopher Lloyd?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, so I'm like so shocked, right? So I was like, oh, Christopher Lloyd, I have a question for you. And I could have asked him anything, Amanda. I could have asked him, hey, will you do my podcast or something? But this is what I asked him. And he's just peeing and he's like ignoring me like the most awkward pee ever. And I was like, Christopher Lloyd, do you remember in Who Framed Roger Rabbit when you took the cartoon shoe and you put it in dip? Why'd you do that? What did that cartoon shoe ever do to you? And he and he just looks at me and he's like, for Christ's sakes, I'm peeing, dude.
I can't. Yeah, there you go. See, again, we have something in common. You say the most like asinine, out there, completely ridiculous thing, and you're like, "Why did I say that?" And I can't put it back in my mouth.
Yeah.
And now I'm standing here going, "Oh my God, you are right. Your dick is out," and I'm asking you this question. That
Yeah.
is funny,
But it's a cool
dude.
story, so I'm kind of glad I asked that
Right.
because, like, if I just peed or whatever, I think there's no fun in that story. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You did great. You did great. No, it's perfect because now you have a story to tell for the rest of time.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, have you ever read a script that you turned down and then after you saw it, you kind of regretted turning it down?
Um, there is. I only remember one in particular that I don't think I turned it down. Like I know that it wasn't offered officially to me,
Okay.
but it was strongly suggested that I might want to entertain doing it. And at the time, things were very different.
Yeah.
And it opened with a scene that I felt uncomfortable doing. And based on that, I said no. And now the person who did it has a massive career. So,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
yeah, Anna Faris. So,
Oh,
did
I
it.
love
And
Anna
it was called
Faris.
Teen Movie. It was called Teen Movie. And
Teen movie. Wow. I,
did
I
you see
don't
Teen Movie?
I don't remember.
A lot
I,
of people saw Teen Movie. Nobody saw Saving Silverman, but a lot of people saw Teen Movie. It
oh.
was a huge hit. She was fantastic in it. And she did a great job. And when I saw it on camera, when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, that wasn't a big deal. It just was me, it wasn't that I had any problem with somebody else doing it. It was
Yeah.
just me, I don't know. I felt weird about it. It was a great scene and hilarious, and she's hilarious in it.
Oh yeah. Wow, man. But you and her kind of have that same vibe too. So you know what I mean? Like, I
A
don't know.
little bit, I guess. I've met her too. She's so nice and sweet. And I met her years and years ago. I was doing a play and she came to the play. She was friends with James, formerly James Roday, now James Rodriguez, Roday Rodriguez, and from Psych. And they were friends. And so I met her and she just couldn't have been sweeter. And I need to point out too, me doing that movie doesn't mean that I would have the career that Anna has.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that a lot of actors get stuck in that. Darn it, I should have done that. I could have, should have, would have. Like I don't live in that place. I feel comfortable with the decisions I made, but and that everyone's career is their own path. You can't take somebody's path from them or give someone their path. That's a misconception, I think.
No, definitely. Like one of my good friends is Jake Weber, who was on Medium, and he did this movie called Dawn of the Dead, which I loved, and he
Mm-hmm.
that was like his only movie where he's the star. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And he said that he wouldn't regret doing that because he had the most fun doing that. But he said that after he did that movie, it made him think he doesn't want to be a movie star. He just wants to be Jake Weber.
So it's funny because I played Jake Weber's little sister on Medium.
Oh my God, really? Holy
Uh-huh.
Lord. Oh,
Yeah. For
yeah.
like, I think it was maybe one or two episodes, but yeah, I
He's
played Jake's little sister. Not that he would remember either, but you might. And I have to agree with you because I think he's fantastic, and I always have. And I was so excited to be on set with him and Patricia, of course. I was good friends with Rosanna for a while, so I knew Patricia a little bit,
yeah.
which is good because she's very intimidating and so amazingly talented. I didn't have scenes with her; I had scenes with Jack.
Oh my God.
Um, And I just was thrilled. And I should have told him probably how blown away I was that I was acting with him, because I just think he's so fantastic. And that's so
I'll
funny.
let him know. Yeah, I'll text him after this and be like, "Hey, your little sister from Medium loves you."
Yeah,
Uh,
loved him and was just starstruck. I just was in awe. So
yeah,
tell
he's a
him for me. I remember.
yeah, he's a very shy guy too. So,
Uh
um,
huh.
I want to respect your time. Do we have? Because I have four more questions. Can I?
Of course. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you did You Me Dupree, which was a Russo movie, brothers movie, and now they're known for like all these Marvel things. So what was it
Hmm.
like being directed by two people at the same time? Like, is that kind of, I don't know. Like, is that
That wasn't, that movie was not the best experience. I mean, it was great doing it, but I knew Anthony and Joe because they directed What About Brian?
yeah,
They were there for the beginning. So I already knew them. And I mean, whatever. Doing that movie was difficult for me because I had a feeling that things were not going to go very well for me, and I ended up being cut out of the movie entirely. So,
really?
I'm not in it at all.
Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So for me, it was a huge disappointment because it would have been a really big break for me in my career, having had some great movies under my belt, but not any great success. The Majestic was not a successful opening. And instead of that, I was cut out of the movie. So it was tough. It was a tough blow. It wasn't, I don't hold anyone accountable for that. It just is what it was. At one point somebody said, well, Michael Douglas or Amanda Detmer. So we know what,
Whoa.
yeah.
That's if it makes you feel any better, uh, that movie is not that good.
I do have a funny story though.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
share. I love funny stuff.
and it was because I was so it was one of those periods of time too where I was just so nervous all the time and felt like I didn't belong. um that it sort of it was just not great, right? It was just difficult. I just didn't feel like I belonged. I wasn't as famous as they were, and I wasn't the in crowd, and um it was tough. But I was walking to my trailer, and I opened the door and I walk right in, and there's Owen Wilson coming out of the shower, barely with wrapping a towel around him. I was in his trailer, not mine.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
oh my God. I was like, oh. He goes, it's all right, it happens all the time. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go now. He was totally cool about it. So that's
Uh,
my funny, silly story. Yeah.
that's a funny
Wrong
story.
trailer. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I watched this one the other day because like I kind of like these horror independent things. You did a movie called Lethal Seduction where you were the mom, and
Mm.
I wanted to ask you because I don't usually like asking like what's it like working with so and so, but you worked with Dinah Meyer who is in Saw. So what was it like working with her because she's pretty
Oh, she's amazing. I honestly think she's so great. First of all, she's really beautiful.
yeah
And she doesn't age. I don't know. I used to say, did you make a deal with the devil or what? She is stunning
yeah
and has this gorgeous body, and she's been around a long time, and she works her ass off. She's super professional. um I had a great time with her. I mean, she just made me feel like this gorgeous little thing right next to her, even though I didn't necessarily feel that way playing the mom and doing all
right
that. She's hilarious and fun, and I just thought she was fantastic, just what you wanted her to be. But especially at the end, we had some fun with the whole killing scene where I'm have to like kill her and stuff like that. It was
yeah
fun. We laughed a lot because it's ridiculous. That movie's really fun and over the top and ridiculous. And I think we all had hoped that it would go somewhere besides Lifetime, but whatever, it went to Lifetime. And it wasn't as campy in the cut as it was when we were doing it.
yeah.
And
Well,
the
I mean,
campiness was hilarious, made it fun.
well, even those movies that they go on Lifetime or Hallmark or whatever. Sometimes those movies are actually really good and better than
Hmm.
major, and that was one of those movies because it was an original idea, and one, it was like, because you like both of the characters so much, you kind of don't really care who wins or not. You know what I mean?
I love that you're saying that. Oh, I have had a lot of people remember that movie, and I don't remember it that often. But you are not the first person to bring that movie up, and I go, wait, what movie was that? Oh, right, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah,
Dinah Meyer set off the trail like, oh yeah, I remember that.
that's right. Yeah,
Uh,
because I knew who she was when they asked me to do it. It was nice. It was one of those movies they asked me to do, and that's always nice to be asked and not have to, peddle your wares, as I say,
uh,
and and give it all to try and get a job that you don't get. But it was fun.
yeah. If you would have rejected it, would you have said, "Yeah, give it to Anna Faris"?
I swear to God, I'm not going to live it down that I said that. I am in no way comparing myself to Anna Faris. She's
No, no,
fucking brilliant. So,
I,
but
I was picking on you on that one. But
it's all right.
so my second to last question is, if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Give myself a lot more grace than I did, and give myself some allowance to know that I belonged there and I had something to give and something to offer that was just as valid as everybody else, and not sort of let it get the better of me, because I think in a lot of ways I did. And much like Jake, it's like, oh gosh, no, I don't want this. This is too much. It's too much for me to navigate. And I would have asked for people to help me navigate it better, instead of just demanding, you're struggling to fit in or find your place in a way, or what this all means to you. And then at the same time, I was so stubborn because I had gotten where I had gotten by my own volition, 1,000,000,000%. I paid for graduate school.
Yeah,
I found my people. I didn't come from that world. And I should have given myself a little bit more credit to be like, you got this. It's okay,
yeah.
And I think I ran scared with my tail between my legs and didn't know how to handle things all the time very well.
I,
But
I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say, Amanda, if this guy named Keith Reza asks you to do his podcast, say no.
well, it's funny because I said yes. So I think this was and then somehow, oh, well, I will tell you this. So I think you asked before, and it wasn't that I didn't want to do it, but about 4 months ago, I got diagnosed, and this is the first time I've talked about it. I had a brain tumor.
Oh my
Um,
God. Oh
so
wow.
yeah, so that was about, now it's only been 4 months since I was diagnosed, I think. Diagnosed, removed, and recovered. It's been four
Oh,
months.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Like
That's
brain surgery. Like I went into the hospital with headaches and did an MRI, and these neurosurgeons walk in, and you're like, where is the camera? This has got to be a joke, right? And
yeah.
I looked at these doctors and I looked at my husband, and in my head I went, these mofos are going to tell me I've got a brain tumor. Are you shitting me?
Oh my God.
You have a
Wow.
brain tumor, and it's big, and we need to get it out. And I was like, okay, ooh, this is weird. And
Wow. I'm
so that
so
happened.
I'm so glad that everything worked out though, because
Thank you.
that's one of the most scariest things. One of my best friends who I tour with, he had, I don't want to say his name, but he had a brain aneurysm, and went to go get surgery for it. And the doctors told him, hey, we have to, you know, get surgery for this. If not, you're going to die. But I got to tell you, this surgery is so, we don't do it a lot, that there's a 70% chance you will die during the surgery.
Oh my God.
And
And
well, he did the surgery and he survived, but like that's one of those things where it's like, you know, you're either 100% going to die or a 30% chance to live. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
it's very scary. So I'm so happy that it worked out for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a crazy experience. And when your 14-year-old says to you, I'm not worried, mom. I just want you to be okay.
Yeah.
then you go, well, I guess I better be okay. It was benign, I want to say. It was just big. And the other thing is that, as you say, these doctors were pretty sure that if they didn't do it a certain way, I would probably end up with facial paralysis, like the whole side of my face. And
Yeah.
they saved my face. They saved my face, and I lost my hearing. So I have no hearing in my right ear at all, but I have my face. And again, you're right. But I'm so happy for your friend. Brain aneurysms sometimes take you. There's not often a chance of even surgery,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's a
So,
miracle. We're
uh,
all miracles.
and then my last question for you, uh, and the folks at home won't see this because I just released the audio, but I noticed you have a couple tattoos. I wanted to know how is it like did you get them just for fun or are they spiritual to you or
My tattoos are pretty indicative of every very significant occurrences. What do you call them? I don't know what I want. I'm not looking at happenings.
yeah,
Big deals. I lost my manager and agent, the only one I'd ever had, when he was 52 years old. And to this day, we don't know if it was a brain aneurysm or what really happened. I have a tattoo for him. My father, um, unfortunately, decided to make some choices that weren't healthy and took himself out of this world, by drinking too much.
yeah,
So I have a tattoo for him. And, all these significant times in my life, I chose to put them on my forearms, which I have been asked, do you worry about that? And the truth is, like, I don't have any more tattoos than any guys I know. And
yeah.
they've been having their tattoos covered since the beginning of when you could cover tattoos. So mine are just as coverable, and they mean a lot to me. They weren't just like random acts of, stupidity.
That
So there's plenty of those. But
well, that's another thing we have in common because I have two. I mean, I don't know if you could really see them, but there's
oh, I
one,
see. Yeah, yeah, I
and
see
then
that.
there's one right here. And the one on my wrist is for my grandfather, who is my best friend in the whole world. He died in 2011, and he was more of a dad than my dad, you know what I mean? And then
Hmm.
the other one was for Norm because he was my best friend. He was like my comedy dad. So I feel tattoos are very acceptable and sentimental. So like I think that that's cool that we have that and it's in the same kind of spot, you know?
It is, yeah. Well, I also selfishly, now you get, as a woman, I said, well, this is the part of my body that's gonna look young the longest. So so they won't get so saggy. I will
Yeah.
say, do you see the snake? Can you see the snake tattoo? This one,
Yeah,
the
that's cool.
beautiful. That's for
Yeah.
my son. That's for my son. His name's Jake. Jake the
Oh.
snake.
Oh, awesome. All
Jake the
right.
snake. Yeah.
Well, Amanda, last question. Where can the folks at home follow and support you at?
Oh my gosh. I been flying under the radar for a long time, but
Yeah.
I may get back onto social media here at some point. I don't know. Right now, I'm loving being a mom to a kid who's super driven and plays football and is so far, like I say, I keep waiting for the penny to drop. This kid is so driven and motivated, and I'm so excited for him, and I'm so happy that I get to be here and be a part of that because he's going to be gone like that. So.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for taking time of your busy day to talk to me. I love you very much, and
Oh,
I hope we could do it again soon. I thought this was
I
awesome.
Oh my God, I would love to do this anytime. I love you too. You're so great. And I'm just amazed at talking with you. My uncle has Asperger's, and he's awesome, but he has a hard time talking to people, and you are just great. So
Oh,
he
oh,
talks to me like you do, but he has a hard time talking to other people. That would I Other than that, he's a freaking genius. So
all right. Well, I'll help you talk to celebrities. You help me talk to the
the
cute
girls.
the
Well,
ladies.
you're
Yeah.
pretty cute, so I think
Oh,
you should do well in that department.
oh, excellent. Thank you. That was the highlight of my day. My crush thinks
You're
I'm cute.
adorable,
Oh,
of
thank you.
course. Oh my gosh. Well,
Ah,
thank you so much. This is a blast. Honestly, you helped me. Today was a day that was good to remember that I love what I do as well, and and I can't wait to get back to it. How about that? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right, guys. That was the interview. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and we'll see you guys next week.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.